People are typically surprised when they find out that I've self-produced and released 9 EPs and 3 albums over the last 4 years, especially with a full-time job and other activities. While I admit it's a little easier for me because I produce my own music, the method I use for assembling a music project can be replicated by anyone. Step 1. Find your motivation. Music has been a part of my life ever since I was a toddler walking around with my Fisher-Price boombox blasting Michael Jackson's Bad on cassette. As I got older, it became my creative outlet. From playing trumpet and percussion in several different school bands, to learning how to produce in high school, to writing songs in college. Not only is creating music my therapy, I consider it to be one of my callings. My motivation for any music project I start is to help others through the various situations of life. Songs like Stranger in Moscow and What's Going On got me through some really tough times as a kid, and my goal is to affect others in the same way. What is your motivation for wanting to assemble a music project? An answer as simple as I just want to sing is reason enough. Just make sure you know what you want to accomplish from the beginning, and keep that motivation in mind throughout the process. Step 2. Pick the songs. I try to draw from real life experiences when I write a song, as well as life lessons I picked up along the way. I stay away from chasing trends or anything that isn't authentically me, as there are enough people out there doing that. For my covers project, I chose songs that connected with my inner being. For example, John Mayer's In Repair felt like he was writing about my life at the time. I wasn't quite at rock bottom, but I had quite the journey to go on my road to happiness. What is it that you want to say? What is your perspective on love, life, and the pursuit of happiness? Those are the songs you should want to put your name on. Step 3. Record. Since I write and produce myself, these steps usually happen concurrently, but with every song, I try to do better than I did before. Learn what works and what doesn't in every area. Lyrics, melody, vocal delivery, mixing, etc. Sometimes a song calls for all the bells and whistles, and sometimes a simple vocal and guitar will tell it all. Sometimes you may need to transpose a song so it's in a more comfortable key for your voice, and sometimes you have to flip the key to match the feeling of the lyrics more. Don't be afraid to experiment in this stage. There's no one way to make a great record. Step 4. Develop the project's concept. This can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. If it's just a collection of songs that showcase your talent, you can self-title the album or just name it after one of the songs. The titles for several of my projects came from song lyrics, and in those cases, I sequenced the tracks to make sure that they flowed from start to finish. You can also develop an underlying concept that ties everything together. For example, my album Letters from a Hopeless Romantic follows the story of a hopeless romantic, going through a series of ups and downs, and arriving at a place of inner peace and contentment. The lyrics from every song could be read as a letter to various people, and I added interludes to emphasize the point. I also did this with my Love Jones mixtape, where I sequenced a bunch of mashups and songs to follow the film's storyline. Is your project a collection of songs, or a concept record with an underlying story? There is no right or wrong choice, but the most important part is that your songs flow together smoothly. Step 5. Put it all together. Once you have all your songs written and recorded, you have entered post-production. This is the stage where you finalize the project, sequencing the tracks in an order that flows, getting everything mixed and mastered. This is also where you develop your album cover and your artwork to match your image as well as the music. This is also the point where you decide your method of distribution. Will you press up any CDs or vinyl, or will it all be digital? Will this be a free release on SoundCloud or Bandcamp, or will you sell it in digital stores like iTunes? Here is where you figure that out and proceed accordingly. Once these decisions are made, congratulate yourself on completing a music project, and then buckle your seatbelt because the work is not over. Step 6. Plan your release. If you already have a fan base, it's time to set up your release campaign. If you don't, it's time to build one. I've put links in the description box on how to do this, but it works better if you already have a buzz. And even if you don't, still read it, but mainly proceed to the next step, which is Step 7. Promoting your project. This is where you let the world know that you're here and you have something that it needs to experience. This is just as important as the creative process, as it makes no sense to waste time and energy on creating a project if no one ever hears it. Perform at open mics, pass out flyers, be active on social media, network and build relationships with other creatives, support, collaborate, and barter with other artists. This creates community and possible cross-promotion opportunities. Submit your music to blogs and other avenues looking for music. Make some music videos. Long gone are the days of artists getting plucked off the street and signing major contracts. You want the world to know who you are? Get out there and do the work. Word of mouth is the best promotion, but no one will know you unless you introduce yourself. So there you have it, 7 steps to self-producing an album. I put links to some resources in the description box for those who want to go more in depth. Thanks for watching. If you dig the content, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, the journey between where you are and where you want to be begins with the first step. Start walking.